one love, so feel free.
Welcome back. We welcome you back to the Now Morning Show with the strains of Second Star Daddy, Merchant, the Caribbean Connection. And we're looking at some connections right now as we go into the Spotlight segment where the Anthony and Sabga Awards for Caribbean Excellence are going to be on. Now, we leave that to the conversation with Robert Clarke, Communications Consultant, and Mr. Raucus is going to take us through our paces.
This morning we are shining a spotlight on the Anthony and Sabga Awards celebrating Caribbean excellence. It's happening this Saturday, the 25th of May. And actually, I want you to check out this video from one of the laureates for 2024, Ms. Kerryann Ifill.
When I was 18 years old, I went into a local bank to get an ATM card. And I was told I couldn't get a card because I was blind. One of my dearest friends accompanied me that day, and she took me to task when we left the bank. I did not raise you to be a mealy mouth with your head hanging down, taking from other people their opinions. What happened to the Kerry I raised, she said. And that was what forced me to start asking myself that question. When I went back to the bank a couple of years later to get an ATM card, they didn't even ask a question. They just handed it over and said, which account do you want it assigned to? Because that is when I recognized that I would not allow myself to be set aside by anyone. And from then on, I've been told I'm arrogant. I've been told, that I think I know more than others. But it's because I do not and will not accept that I am less because I am blind. I am Kerryann Ifill, 2024 Laureate for Public and Civic Contributions.
And definitely an inspiration to us all. This morning, joining me to have this conversation, Communications Consultant, Mr. Robert Clarke. Good morning to you, sir.
Good morning to you.
How are you doing this morning?
Very well this morning, actually.
Thank you for joining us to share in this. I mean, that story, to start things off with Kerryann Ifill, they're definitely very inspirational. But tell me, I want to go back to the beginning. Tell me the genesis of these awards and why was it necessary?
The genesis of the awards was when Dr. Anthony Sabga was still alive. He passed in 2017, but of course, as the founder of the Ansa McCall Group, he wanted to give back to society. And the way that he thought of was to promote and recognize and support excellence in human endeavor that uplifts the region.
Of course.
Hence Caribbean excellence.
Yeah.
And he went out and they started these awards in 2006, and it's been held since. At first it was held biannually, and then now it's held every year. And we have 4 categories: arts and letters, entrepreneurship, public and civic contributions, which is Kerryann Ifill this year, of course, and science and technology.
Now, what is the criteria for people to be chosen to be a laureate?
It's a public nominations process, and usually our awardees are always between the ages of 35 and 55. They are mid-career professionals, so they have a body of work behind them, and hopefully they still have work ahead of them. So we want to spur and motivate some of that work ahead of them.
And is it that their work needs to be recognized regionally?
It does need to be recognized regionally. The recognition of your peers, of your community, your professionals in your field is of course important, and we have a rigorous screening process. We have 2 levels. We go from a country nominating committee level up to the eminent persons panel level, and they are screened and awarded, and then they each receive the equivalent of, each category receives the equivalent of $500,000 TT dollars in local currency, a citation, and a Anthony and Sabga medal.
Nice, man. All right, so I understand that to date we have about 62 people who would have received this from 2006 to now.
Exactly, 62 laureates.
Have we been able to track their progress after receiving, and did it make a significant impact on their career?
Definitely. I mean, shining the spotlight and really letting the public know about the work that they're doing is important in itself.
Right.
And each laureate has a story, Some have benefited, of course, from the financial award, especially when you're an artist and you're trying to get by.
Anybody will benefit from $500,000.
Right.
That will be real.
So it is a spur, and it has helped many of them in many ways. Last year, I particularly remember I think we may have spoken to him on set right here, from Guyana, Dr. Mahendra Prasad.
We did,
the
yes.
rice researcher. And I remember him telling me, I was sort of a low ebb in my career, but I had done a lot professionally, but the recognition, it meant a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's important when we are able to celebrate, like we said, celebrating Caribbean excellence, people who are doing the work and oftentimes go unnoticed, or at least they feel as though they've been going unnoticed.
Sure.
So I appreciate you guys still continuing to do the awards and continue to do it annually now, especially. So I think that means we have a chance to celebrate more people.
Well, I'll tell you, it's an inspiration to me every year when I meet these excellent Caribbean people, right?
Yeah.
I think sometimes we get bogged down in negativity and so on, and it's easy to do so with the news that comes at us every day. But this is something positive and something potentially motivational for young people.
Now, let's try and motivate some young people, right?
Yes.
So I want to go through the list of laureates for 2024.
Sure.
Under Science and Technology, we have Dr. Diva Amon.
Dr. Diva Amon, yes,
Right.
she's a marine biologist.
Right. Tell me a little bit about why she was selected and why she was chosen.
She is on the young end of our scale. Diva is only 36 years old.
36, yeah.
And she is a deep sea marine biologist who studies the deep sea. She's been down in a submersible 20 times. I think the depths of as deep as 2.6 kilometers. When you think of those sort of bone-crushing depths.
Yeah.
And she's down there doing legitimate scientific work. She's produced over 70 peer-reviewed papers. She's also very committed, this is a big part of it, Rokas, that to the conservation of the ocean, to more effective ocean stewardship, not only around Trinidad and Tobago, but the Caribbean and globally. And
Right.
she's quite an inspiration.
All right. Tell me about Dr. Stefan Walcott.
Dr. Stefan Walcott is a musician and composer from Barbados. He's also the head of the Ifill music program. And Stefan has a sort of international taste for music. So while he knows his Caribbean rhythms and he wants to infuse things with Caribbean rhythms, he's taking inspiration from all over. And perhaps his greatest performance to date has been Handel's Caribbean Messiah. So the classic Messiah,
Yeah.
he's taken that and reworked it in a Caribbean context.
Fantastic. And one of the people that we celebrate as well, she's actually going to join us online now via Zoom, Kerryann Ifill. I want you to tell me, first of all, from your perspective, tell me what you appreciate about Kerryann.
I appreciate Kerryann's directness. And you might have heard in the video, she's accused of being arrogant sometimes. And Kerryann knows exactly what she wants. And she's a leader of that community. You'd have seen the footage from the church service.
Yeah.
And Kerryann is president of the Council for the Disabled in Barbados. And she's just that kind of person. When you meet her, her spirit is real. And she is very much at the forefront of disability rights.
Well, let's have a chat with Kerryann Ifill. Good morning to you, Kerryann. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Good morning. Thank you for welcoming me.
I'm barely hearing you, Kerryann. I'm hoping that we can sort out that technology situation.
I'm not sure why. Is this any better?
That's a lot better. I'm hearing you a lot better now. How are you this morning?
I'm great. I'm great. Welcome to a hot Barbados.
Well, it's hot in Trinidad and Tobago as well. So thank you so much for joining us. And we're getting ready for the Anthony and Sabga Awards taking place this weekend. And congratulations, first of all, on being selected as a laureate for 2024. How does it feel?
Thank you. It is, to be honest, shocking. I don't do what I do for recognition. So to be recognized in a way like this is absolutely amazing.
Nice. I mean, tell us about about what inspires you to continue doing the work, because you're not just doing work to benefit yourself, but you're trying to benefit a whole community. You've been having that significant impact on the disabled community for quite some time now. Tell me what inspires you to keep you going and to keep saying, I want to fight on behalf of those who can't fight for themselves or feel as though they can't fight for themselves.
What inspires me is there's so many things, but I'll give you the most recent example. He is 12 years old. He's totally blind. He suffered retinoblastoma at a very early age, but he's an exceptionally academic young man. He is my inspiration. Whenever I meet him, his curiosity about the world, his personality is so warm and beautiful. And to think that without the technology that I teach, without the blindness skills that I exemplify, without all of those things, this child could be overlooked simply because he happens to be blind. our disabilities around the region have limited us in too many ways. One of the laureates some years ago, Senator Floyd Morris, if he wasn't the kind of person that he is, he could not have been a laureate because he wouldn't have inspired. Now he is the head of the Center for Disability Studies. He's on the International Committee for the Rights of Persons with Disabilities. I can go on and on about the exceptional people that I have met. These are the things that inspire me. The small things like my youngster, and the big things when we see change, when we see ministers of education talking about inclusive education, when I understand that all of the English speaking countries in the Caribbean and a fair amount of the others as well have ratified the Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities. This is what gets me up every day because there are people that are listening.
Nice. And I mean, people are listening, and I want you to continue to spread the message that you're spreading, continue to inspire those around you, because the same way that you were inspired by a previous laureate, you are now a laureate, and you will be inspiring others who will come after you. So thank you so much for the great work that you do.
Thank you.
You're most welcome. And it's very interesting, Robert, because, you know, I love the fact that Kerryann was able to mention past laureates who would have inspired her along the way. So we see that continuity.
Yes, definitely. I mean, I'm sure that there's that knock-on effect. I always have a laureate who will open our Laureate magazine and say, you know what, I love this essay, because we do long essays by each laureate about their life, their work, and because this person had always inspired me, you know.
I mean, to me, that's amazing, and I'm really happy that we can take the time to celebrate that positivity, to celebrate the impact and the positive impact that these people have been having on the Caribbean and continue to have on the Caribbean. Kerryann, before we go, if you had to give a piece of advice to anybody in the Caribbean, especially when it comes to the community that you serve, what would that advice be?
My advice would be, one, you're not alone in this thing. There are challenges, there are discriminations, there are all of these things, but you're not alone. Number two, whatever it is you dream of, whatever it is you feel within yourself called to do, then that is who you are and go after it. And thirdly, it is important that we work together to ensure that those who come behind us can find a path that is less difficult to travel.
I appreciate that, because I don't think very many people understand that, you know, in terms of clearing the path, and people can follow in the path, and it'll be a little bit easier for them. And not going to be perfect, but it'll be a little bit easier than when those who would have passed before would have passed. So thank you so much for joining us this morning, Kerryann. Thank you for the work that you do, and please continue to do the great work.
Thank you.
Take care. Robert, before we go, any closing words for people who might be saying, you know, I want to be on that stage, I want to receive that award. Is that what they should be thriving for, or should they be actually just trying to do the good work that they have to do?
Do the good work that you do every day, you know, and live up to your own standards and set those standards of excellence. Answer CaribbeanAwards.com. We have a public nominations process annually. Go on there, get your nomination form, and you can watch the live stream from Barbados with Kerryann this weekend, Saturday at 6:30 p.m. Answer CaribbeanAwards.com.
It's happening this Saturday from 6:30 p.m. and we can stream it live at AnswerCaribbeanAwards.com.
Barbados Hilton Resort is the location, and Kerryann, of course, will be there.
Is it just ironic that we have 3 out of the 5 of them from Barbados?
It is the first time we've had 3 from a single country.
Nice.
And, you know, it's really thrilling. So in addition to being a celebration of Caribbean excellence, is, of course,
a celebration of Bajan excellence as well.
Right there, yeah.
Well, Robert, thank you so very much for joining us this morning, and congratulations on the work that you and the team have been doing. Please keep it up, because celebrating Caribbean excellence is something that we should definitely not stop doing anytime soon.
A nice way to start a Monday, right?
I agree, starting Monday in a nice positive way. And I want you to stay tuned to the Now Morning Show. That was Robert Clarke, Communications Consultant, and Kerryann Ifill, who is the Laureate for Public and Civic Contributions for 2024. Joining us as we get ready for the Anthony N. Sabga Awards for Caribbean Excellence taking place this Saturday, the 25th of May. Stay tuned. Today is also World Bee Day, so check this out as we take this break and come back with more.